Does the dynamic kickoff, and that's the only time I'll refer to it that way. They want us to call it the dynamic kickoff, and the more they want me to call it that, the less inclined I am to call it. It's the kickoff. The kickoff is the kickoff. How dynamic is the dynamic kickoff? I still think that they got to listen to Sean Payton and change the touchback point. I haven't seen anything more about the proposed meeting on August 27 for the owners to get together and talk about accelerating this whole private equity thing. And maybe after the court ruling last week, they feel less urgency to come up with a way to raise some money. You don't need a $14 billion bake sale if you're on the winning side for now in that Sunday ticket antitrust class action. But if they're still going to do it, that's the chance for the owners to make real tweaks to the kickoff rule. And this dovetails with the question that we got from Calvin today. It's a small sample size, but do you think the NFL is thinking up multiple revisions to the new kickoff rules after less than stellar results so far? I don't know that they're less than stellar. We've got 3 games. But here's the thing. We haven't seen a big, exciting play yet. But what I'm seeing is it doesn't take all that much to get starting field position between the 25 and the 30. There was a return last night in the Patriots-Panthers game where it didn't really feel like the guy did all that much, and he got to the 35. This brings me back to the belief that 2 things. Number 1, by the trade deadline, the Tuesday after week 9, at least half the teams in the NFL will be kicking out of the end zone strategically on a regular and consistent basis. And number 2, at the start of the season, there's going to be plenty of coaches who say, I'm not going to be your guinea pig. I'm not going to be the guy that pins my career on a long touchdown that ends up causing me a game or costing me a game. I'm going to pin any and all mistakes I make on this vertigo shit until I'm 100%. And I'm going to milk that cow as long as I can, baby. Costing a game. And, it's that one game that at the end of the day may keep you out of the playoffs. And if you don't make the playoffs, you may not have a job. I'm not doing that. I'm kicking it out of the end zone. I'll give you the 30-yard line. Because we're seeing it. These returns, these average, random, not dynamic, not exciting returns are ending up between the 25 and the 35. So just give them the 30. And you take off the table the possibility of a long return. That's why they got to move it to the 35. And I also think that we're not going to see teams deliberately kicking it out of the end zone. They're going to do a little okey doke on the owners because the preseason will be over by the time they meet, if they do meet on the 27th. And, you think about argument in a room full of people who aren't really football people. Well, why are you worried about them kicking it out of the end zone? We didn't see much of it during the preseason. Well, no, they're not going to do it because there's going to be coaches out there who don't want the rule to change. They want it to be the 30. They don't want to have to worry about this. They got enough to worry about. Okay, we've got this crazy new kickoff formation, and we kick off to a Tyreek Hill, a Cordero Patterson, a great returner, and there's a chance it's going to be a touchdown. Let's just kick the damn thing out of bounds. Well, what if they move it to the 35? Well, let's not kick it out of bounds until it's too late for them to change the rules. Because by the time week 1 rolls around, it's too late. In theory. They don't like to compromise the integrity of the season. They don't like to play games under different sets of rules. So if it's the 30 as of week 1, it's staying the 30. The challenge is for those who really want this play to be dynamic and compelling and different than what it's been, where it's just kick the ball out of the end zone and put it at the touchback point. That's what it's going to be in a lot of these cases, I believe. I would do it, and I think a lot of coaches are going to do it, but they're not going to do it until week 1. But Sean Payton was banging the drum. We've talked about this before. Make it the 35. Make everything that doesn't land in that 20-yard box the 35. If it falls short of the 20, go to the 35, not the 40. If it hits inside the 20 and goes out of bounds or goes out of bounds before the 20, 35. Kick it out of the end zone, 35. 2 options, 35 or the 20. It only ends up on the 20 if it hits in the 20-yard box, goes into the end zone, and isn't returned. That's the only way it goes to the 20. That's easy for people to understand, and it's going to be conducive to more returns. That's why they're doing this. That's why they call it dynamic. It's going to end up being a dud. Mark my words. And look, I'm always candid with you. I'll be very candid about this. I hope they don't change it so I can say I was right. Actually, I hope they do change it so it actually is interesting. But if they don't change it, I won't be upset because I want to be able to say I was right. Because I rarely get to say I was right. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.